24-year-old Natalie Vasquez worked as a dental assistant in Longmont, Colorado. And Natalie was a very active member of the Apostolic Church, a denomination with very strict rules for women.
Basically, it's the strict teachings of the apostles. They have to follow very, very strict commands from the church leaders, and basically in this church women were only allowed to wear dresses. They couldn't wear makeup, they couldn't dance, they couldn't drink, they couldn't smoke.
Music, television, movies, all were forbidden. The church pastor Troy Hancock claimed to have a special relationship with God.
He would point somebody out in the congregation and say, I've just received a revelation that you need to give $1,000 to the church. I've just received a revelation that you need to give $300, and they would do it. Because, I mean, they were very, very faithful people.
And Troy Hancock had a revelation for Natalie Vasquez, too. He said that God wanted Natalie to marry another church member, a 21-year-old house painter, Matthew Mirabal.
He had this epiphany from God, and this is what it was supposed to be. Troy Hancock saw these two youngsters married, and that's how they came to be a couple.
Not surprisingly, Natalie's family was appalled.
I knew that it wasn't the church anymore. I knew that it was a cult. When they started controlling and monitoring the people.
Over the objections of her family, Natalie married Matthew, and they had a baby daughter, Michaela. By all accounts, Natalie was happier than she had ever been.
She had the room fully decorated, she had the crib, she had the whole bedroom set for the baby. She was just, she had already started making outfits. She loved to sew.
I was seeing the life in her, that energy. Now I can just see her jumping and just having fun, and she was coming back little by little.
Late one Saturday night in 1999, Matthew Mirabal called police to report his wife missing. He said Natalie went to the grocery store while he stayed home with the baby, but she never returned home.
She ain't been back. It's been 3 hours. She's not in the store either? Oh my gosh. You don't think maybe she went with a friend or something? No, she would have told me. She would have let me know. I know she would have. She doesn't do that stuff. Oh my gosh.
Police found Natalie's car abandoned in the grocery store parking lot.
I'm just freaked out. My sister's missing. She's gone. What can I do?
Security cameras revealed Natalie hadn't been in the store that night. Investigators found no trace of Natalie anywhere in the area. The next day, hikers found Natalie's body 20 miles away in the Rocky Mountains.
This was seen on 9/26/99 of a homicide.
Natalie Mirabal's murder had been exceptionally violent. The medical examiner discovered that she had been beaten, possibly with the wood found near her body.
Oh, man.
But the cause of her death was strangulation. She had also been decapitated.
Oh, shit.
We never found the tool that was used to decapitate her. We had search teams go up and down that canyon. We had people actually scuba dive into the different lakes in the area to see if it had been thrown out into a lake.
The lack of blood at the crime scene confirmed this occurred after death.
It was very clear immediately that she had been killed elsewhere.
This wasn't the first time a body had been dumped in that area.
Left-Hand Canyon is known as Crime Canyon. At least reporters refer to it as that. At least another homicide story that I covered was there was a body in Left-Hand Canyon.
Natalie's murder was remarkably similar to a series of crimes in Denver, just 40 miles away.
Denver had a rash of murders that involved the decapitations of several transients in the lower downtown Denver area.
But investigators found no connection whatsoever between Natalie and the Denver homicides. By all accounts, Natalie led a quiet life and was happy in her marriage.
I mean, this is a loving husband. We found absolutely no evidence of domestic violence, ever. never heard a cross word between them. From all accounts, this is a very loving couple, and additionally, they just had a brand new daughter born on the 28th of May, 4 months before.
Forensic investigators searched Natalie's abandoned car and found a wealth of evidence.
Vehicles are like a magnet. It's a very hard place to
All over
find
head.
evidence.
Near the windshield wipers, Dr. Buck found bits of mountain grass and some unusual pine needles, neither of which was common in the area.
It was a material that had come from approximately 9,000 feet elevation in a canyon along the Front Range.
This
Oh, I know what I'm
vegetation was
missing.
consistent with the type growing
My
near
spear.
left-hand canyon.
The car had been in the mountains, and it certainly fit the crime scene vegetation.
And there was even more evidence Natalie's car had been to the crime scene.
Ah, shit.
Natalie's
Took it and
car
brought her back.
had three different types of tires on it. Three completely different tread patterns on her car.
Those
What's
same
your tires?
tire impressions were discovered not far from Natalie's body. And the entire right side of Natalie's car was scratched. It appeared that the driver had misjudged the distance between the car and the bushes along the road leading to the crime scene. Natalie's husband, Matthew, had a well-known aversion to night driving.
Matthew, when he was 12 years old, had an accident where he was blinded in his right eye. And he wore glasses, but he was blind in this eye.
A driver with a visual impairment in his right eye would have had difficulty judging the distance on the right side of the vehicle. Now suspicious, investigators checked the Mirabals' telephone records looking for possible clues. And they found something. Matthew
Terrible.
spent hours on the phone talking with his brother's wife, Lisa. This call was recorded after Natalie's murder.
What would you like me to do? I'd like for you to lay on the bed and pull me down on top of you. Naked, both of us. So I like that, huh?
And Lisa's
Man.
neighbors told investigators that Matthew had been visiting Lisa's apartment for months when her husband Marcus wasn't there.
Terrible.
He said without fail, within 5 minutes after Marcus would leave to go to work, he said this guy would come around the corner, peek into his apartment, wearing white clothes, which is what all the painters wore, and go into the apartment next door. Furthermore, his wife said that she had heard him on several occasions. She heard the sounds of sex coming from this apartment next door.
And investigators uncovered these photographs Lisa sent to Matthew after Natalie's murder. And this was Matthew's written reply.
I got the pictures of you today. Oh my God, they're so beautiful. I never had any idea sex was so fun and exciting until I got with you. I love you, Lisa, now and always.
Ironically, the two couples were members of the same church.
I always just try to report the news. I mean, I guess if I have to say personally what I thought, I would start to think, Matthew's looking pretty bad right now. And the church is kind of looking weird too.
After Natalie Mirabal's murder, investigators discovered that her husband Matthew was having an affair with his brother's wife, Lisa. For reasons not entirely clear, the pastor of the local apostolic church told members not to speak with investigators.
Troy Hancock, when he would get up there and he would give his sermons, he would say, Matthew Mirabal did not kill that woman. And so she went from being this mother and the light of the church to that woman.
And I said, Troy, you believe in the Old Testament and the Ten Commandments, right? And he says, yeah. I said, are you for them or against them? And he just kind of looked at me like this and turned around, slammed the door, and went in the house and slammed the door.
Matthew Mirabal said he had an alibi for the night of the murder. He claimed he was home with his daughter, Michaela. His brother Marcus and his wife Lisa said they too were at home that night and went to bed early. By now, investigators knew that Natalie's car had been driven workplace and found a Walmart shopping bag in a trash can outside.
There was a tab for pairs of Wells Lamont Handyman cotton jersey gloves in there.
To see who purchased the gloves, investigators looked for fingerprints using heated super glue, which adheres to any finger oils present. The test revealed Matthew Miraball's fingerprint.
And this stuff was bought at Walmart, which is a mile from their house. I'm thinking, holy cow, this is incredible. It also helped establish that the gloves were brand new, and that Matthew had purchased those gloves. There are some murder cases that it's a no-brainer, but there are other cases where you have to build this wall brick by brick, and when you get the wall built, you push it over on it.
In the back of Matthew's truck, investigators found a broken piece of wood. It looked strikingly similar to the other pieces of wood found near Natalie's body.
Those pieces of wood
Filthy
were splintered and
gankers.
broken, and Colorado Bureau of Investigations was able to put them back together
Come.
perfectly.
You got the
When
guts?
investigators questioned Matthew, he insisted he had nothing to do with his wife's murder. But they noticed something.
As he's talking, he's kind of going like this with his thumb. And we said, what is that you got there? And he goes, oh, it's a Band-Aid. You know, he's pulling this Band-Aid off. He said, I have a lot of sharp knives at work. I'm a painter, and I'm always flipping them in and out. And he said, I just cut myself right here. He said, well, can we take a look at that?
Matthew had a cut on the webbing between his left thumb and index finger. When investigators looked more closely at the bloody gloves found in Natalie's car, they found a similar hole in the left-hand glove between the thumb and forefinger. DNA testing revealed that blood on the outside of the glove was Natalie's, but the blood on the inside of the left-hand glove was Matthew's.
DNA matched back to both the commingling of Matthew's blood and Natalie's blood. And it's all this forensic evidence that starts to tell the truth as to what happened that night.
In the Miraball's apartment, investigators found evidence of motive. Matthew had purchased a $250,000 life insurance policy on Natalie that was due to expire 3 days after her murder. The insurance company revealed that Matthew originally tried to buy a $1 million policy.
He made $19,000 a year, so the insurance company said, you know, we don't think we're going to give you $1 million. Would you settle for $250,000?
R1 spamming scum.
$50,000.
Matthew Miraball was arrested and charged with first-degree murder.
Matthew,
These kind of players are the worst.
absolutely.
They have no skill whatsoever.
The way he lived his life, what he presented himself to be, and the way he took his wife's
I mean, even the gear he's wearing in the stats, I mean, he wasn't doing any damage to me whatsoever. Fucking garbage-ass players. I better get himself killed before they catch me.
Prosecutors say the murder of 24-year-old Natalie Miraball was about money. That her husband, Matthew, killed her for the $250,000 in life insurance money in order to start a new life with his brother's wife, Lisa. Letters and phone calls between the two indicated
Scumbag.
they were in love. On the night of the murder, Matthew lured Natalie out of the house.
I suspect the pretense is that he said we need to go get my check because he hadn't picked up his paycheck on the Friday previous, which he always did and took it to the bank. He hadn't picked up that paycheck. And I think that's how he got her out of the house. They took the baby, took the diaper bag, and left.
These kind of players are the worst,
When
man.
Matthew went in to get his paycheck,
These are the guys that enjoy invading and killing.
his new gloves.
Fucking scumbags.
The shopping bag in the trash. He left his fingerprint as evidence. He then got Natalie out of the car and struck her with a piece of wood. But it splintered, so Matthew strangled her to death. He loaded her body into the car, picked up the pieces of wood, and drove 20 miles Jacob's body to make the murder appear like other unsolved homicides. But in doing so, he cut his left thumb, leaving his blood on the inside of his glove.
Spamming his fucking
That's when Matthew's
life.
plan started to fall apart.
And especially the first timers, they don't account for that rush of emotion once they've done it. We call it the full tilt boogie. When your mind goes in the full tilt boogie, you forget everything. Your brains go out the window and you start doing stupid stuff.
Among them, Matthew threw most of the wood away, but forgot one piece, later found near his office by police. He scratched the right side of Natalie's car with the bushes, most likely due to his visual impairment. He left the bloody gloves in the car, gloves that could tie him to the crime. And he left his daughter's diaper bag in the back seat, proof that their baby was present during the murder.
Fuck.
Even when you collect the
Sack of shit.
oftentimes you don't know what happened. You know, we had the photograph of the baby bag in the car for months before it dawned on us that he must have taken the child with him on this murder. So it's not just that it takes a long time to collect the forensic evidence, it also takes a lot of processing to figure out what the forensic evidence is telling you.
What a scumbag.
Well, first of all, I think that he thought he was going to get away with this whole thing and collect some insurance money and possibly move off and live in a little fantasy world. But, you know, thanks to God, first of all, it just didn't work out that way for him.
Although there is clear evidence that Matthew is in love with his sister-in-law, Lisa, investigators found letters from another woman sent to him while in prison.
Matthew, I can't wait to hear your sound and feel you moving against me as I love you. I do want to have a wild and passionate sex life with you, but I also want us to have a romantic sex life too.
And there were telephone conversations between the two.
I love you, Janet. Oh, tell me something. Tell you. I don't know, something nasty. I want you so bad. I miss you, Janet.
The letters and phone calls were from Janet Hancock, the pastor's wife. Prosecutors have no evidence that either Janet Hancock or Matthew's sister-in-law Lisa had anything to do with Natalie's murder. Matthew Mirabal was tried and convicted of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life in prison. After the trial, Lisa Mirabal divorced Matthew's brother Marcus. Troy and Janet Hancock also divorced, and the Apostolic Church in Longmont disbanded. Natalie's daughter, Michaela, now lives with her grandmother.
Michaela knows that her dad murdered her, but there's no proof. She doesn't know the violence of it. She doesn't know anything about what he did to her. Nothing. Stated in all the newspapers when she told him he was 16.
Get out of there.
To her.
We lost the vantage.
I don't know exactly. The time will come. I will,
Come over here.
charge that. When we
Over here.
Investigators point to this case as a textbook example of how forensic science can decipher a complicated crime scene.
This case wouldn't have been solved without forensic science. We had nothing in the way of interviews as far as getting anybody to confess. We had nothing in the way of any other evidence other than the forensic evidence.
I couldn't help him. We lost advantage
Also,
there.
my closing arguments, I used to quote all
He let himself get flanked.
said, memories may fade and witnesses dissemble, but circumstances never lie. And circumstances of this case are forensic circumstances, and they did not lie.
The host is running low on Estes though. I'm gonna wait him out.
the school year, more than 27,000 students from all over the world called the University of Missouri home.
It is largely a college town. A lot of students live here. So it's
That's fucking laggy.
quiet. No big crimes. There
All these
about
phantoms in here.
80 to 90 murders in the past 25 years.
Plus the adjudicator has his own little lag.
June of 2004, a group of college students found a body on
But
the
they're all
grass
getting
in between
themselves
two
killed, so
apartment buildings near campus.
no big deal.
The body was
None of them can kill me one-on-one, especially not the host. He's just an R1 spammer who goes for the blocking or backstab, but that's no problem. I could parry him or just do a reverse backstab on him. It's not a big deal. I'll probably one-shot him with the Hornet Ring.
Top to the next. Being a college town, we see all kinds of crazy things that happen here, and a stunt like that would not be out of the norm. They actually got up though and looked at the roof and saw there was not blood on the edge of the roof. They looked at the air conditioner unit, saw there wasn't any blood there, and they rather quickly ruled out that idea that it would have been a fall.
But a
There's only two of them left.
revealed the throat wound looked more like it was made by a knife or some other sharp object. And the blood evidence indicated the murder took place in the spot where the body was found and not elsewhere. The victim was identified as 22-year-old Jesse Valencia, a pre-law major at the university. He worked part-time as a clerk.
That host only has about 1,200 health. Yeah, I'll one-shot him with the Hornet Ring backstab.
Fell apart. I wouldn't talk to anybody, and I just sit and cried all night long and about all day.
What I know about Jesse is he was a great guy. He socialized quite a bit. He didn't have any real enemies that anyone knew of.
He was very carefree, and he had a lot of friends, and he really valued those friendships a lot.
But Jesse had a reputation for defending what he believed in, and he seldom backed down.
All of Jesse's friends were in agreement that he was a confrontational kind of person. He wanted to be a lawyer someday. He actually liked arguments. He was flamboyant.
Investigators learned that on the night before the murder, Jesse Valencia worked at the motel, went to a party, and then headed home.
He had been drinking that night. His blood alcohol level in his body showed he was still dealing with alcohol at the time he was killed.
Investigators wondered why Jesse was outside in bare feet and wearing only shorts that night. Jesse lived alone in an apartment a block from where he was murdered. Investigators found the door to his apartment ajar.
These scumbag gankers.
Sign of foul play.
Gankers are the most cowardly humans on the face of the earth.
Pile of clothes, they found a possible clue. A used condom. Was it possible that the condom contained biological evidence of the killer? Jesse Valencia's autopsy provided a lot of information. Based on rigor mortis and insect activity, the medical examiner estimated Jesse was killed sometime before dawn. The murder weapon was a serrated knife that cut the arteries in his neck.
There was something unique to the blade. We were very fortunate we were able to see some of those features. For example, there was an interrupted parallel pattern that to me suggested there was something serrated about the blade.
The autopsy revealed no defensive wounds, which is unusual in a knife attack.
Usually, if someone sees someone coming at them with a knife, the hands will go up. As your attacker is slashing with a knife, you're putting your hands up, you find characteristic defense wounds to the hands. There were no wounds whatsoever to the hands.
And the medical examiner found out why.
So on the surface of the windpipe, he had areas of hemorrhage that we see also when somebody is deprived of oxygen or in strangulation type death.
She also said she found petechial eye hemorrhaging in the eyes, which is consistent
Dragon's
with
not down here, so he's either upstairs or
compression.
they killed him already.
This meant that Jesse was unconscious before he was killed. DNA testing of the condom found in Jesse's apartment showed it contained biological material from two different people. One was Jesse's. The other was obviously Jesse's sexual partner, an individual police wanted to identify. Jesse's cell phone records showed showed he had a number of conversations with a fellow student, Ed McDevitt, on the night he was killed.
The cell phone records of both Jesse Valencia and Ed McDevitt confirmed Ed McDevitt had had a phone call about 3:13 a.m. So obviously Ed McDevitt becomes one of the potential suspects.
McDevitt admitted the two had been lovers and said the last time he was intimate with Jesse was 2 nights before the murder. DNA testing confirmed that
Running away,
McDevitt's DNA
coward.
matched the biological evidence on the condom in Jesse's apartment.
So obviously at that point, Ed McDevitt can't be ruled out as a suspect.
McDevitt insisted he didn't kill Jesse and claimed he was at home with his roommate at the time of the murder. The roommate corroborated McDevitt's claim. But evidence under Jesse's fingernails undercut that alibi.
As I started examining the shadings,
Those guys have a ton of
I noticed
souls.
that 2 fingernails appeared to have some reddish blackish stains on them.
These cells were subjected to DNA testing. The results were surprising.
I noticed that the profile.
He's gonna go summon some more help because he can't do it by himself. Or he's gonna send those guys home and disconnect.
The first source was Jesse himself, which was expected. The second was from Ed McDevitt. He claimed this DNA, like the condom, resulted from their sexual encounter 2 nights before the murder.
Maybe this DNA was from just not washing his hands as often as he should have.
To solve the case, investigators would need
He's probably gonna
to
disconnect.
identify the source of the third DNA sample. One of Jesse's
Fucking
friends,
coward.
Andy Schermerhorn, had information.
I'm gonna make sure to remember his PSN and invade him
Their
again.
relationship was a little unusual for mid-America to understand. They were friends who would sometimes have sex. They had known each other for several months and they'd had sex about 5 times, but Andy was quick to tell me we weren't boyfriends.
Andy said he was in Jesse's apartment several months earlier and witnessed a bizarre incident.
They were actually engaged in sexual activity in Jesse's bed. And a knock came to the door. Jesse got up and went to the door and opened it, and it was a police officer in uniform. The officer came in with a flashlight. He shined the flashlight around the apartment, and then he said, keep doing what you're doing. And Andy Schermerhorn said, I was standing up to bed naked, holding the sheet up, and Jesse said, no, he's cool, he's cool.
It was clear that Jesse knew the police officer and invited him to join them.
Oh shit.
Then when it was over, he said the officer got up real quickly, turned on a lamp, and said to Andy Schermerhorn, this has got to remain a secret. The officer went to the door, and Jesse said to the officer, when will I see you again? And the officer made some comment, you'll see me when you see me, or something like that. It was clear to Andy Schermerhorn that Jesse would never know when this officer would show up, and the officer left.
Needless to say, investigators wanted to know the identity of this mysterious police officer. Was it possible he had information about the murder? One of Jesse Valencia's lovers told investigators that Jesse was also involved with a police officer. Jesse's family confirmed the relationship, but Jesse never told them the officer's name.
Whenever I talked to Jesse, he would tell me that the guy was just practically stalking him. That's the word Jesse used. He said he practically stalks me everywhere I go.
Apparently, this
If anybody else invades though, it's gonna be a reverse Ganker.
any other information
I'll
about
take him out as
himself.
fast as I can.
It's like the cop wanted to know everything about Jesse, but he didn't want Jesse to know anything about him.
And if it's any of those blue guys or white guys, I know I can kill them, no problem.
Whatever. And
Especially that
that's when
stupid guy
Jesse
with the
started
Havels spamming
getting
R1.
suspicious and started telling me. He
These
said,
guys are
you
so
know,
fucking
I'm beginning to
predictable.
wonder about this guy.
The host is the worst. His armor and stats, I mean, he has 50 strength to use the shield, but he's using a sword that doesn't match his stats, so I mean, he hit me like a ton of times and I didn't take any damage. I mean, pathetic. And I'm wearing, look at my armor.
To look at some photographs.
Ninja clothes, look at my defense.
As they were leading him to the conference room, something unexpected happened.
As Andy Schermerhorn was going down the hallway to look at the photographs of the person he thought was the killer, he saw the killer coming at him in the hallway. He recognized him as the person he had seen.
He's gonna have to disconnect. They're gonna be the only way.
It scared him to death.
The man was 28-year-old Stephen Rios, a 3-year veteran of the department. He was known for being very ambitious.
Stephen Rios seemed like he was well respected in the police force and in the community. I know he had political aspirations and he wanted something bigger. But I also think that Stephen Rios was a very rigid individual and he played everything by the rules, was very strict.
Rios was married and had just become a father for the first time. His son was only a few months old. There had never been any rumors that he was sexually involved with anyone of the same gender.
We certainly did not want to believe that Stephen Rios could have been in any way involved in the murder of Jesse Valencia.
When questioned, Rios denied Schermerhorn's allegations.
The detective says, I've talked to another boy who says he was there when you came by and he saw you having sex with Jesse Valencia. And Rios said, what? Sex? And acted real surprised.
Rios said he had an alibi for the night of the murder, that he was home in bed with his wife.
Stephen Rios told me on the phone that he would never harm Jesse Valencia and he had nothing to do with his death.
Just to be sure, Rios provided his DNA to compare to the unidentified cells found under Jesse's fingernails. It seemed to match, but with DNA from 3 different people, it was impossible to tell conclusively.
He said that looking at the DNA of their fingernail, that there was a 1 in 7,000 chance that you would pluck any person at random off the street and that they would be a match that they could have contributed to this sample.
And even if it was Rios' DNA under Jesse's fingernails, it didn't prove murder. Ed McDevitt's DNA was under Jesse's fingernails too.
Medical science can't tell you how long DNA would stay under somebody's fingernail. You know, common sense tells you every time you wash your hands, some of it's going to go away, but you can't say with scientific certainty how long is DNA going to stay under somebody's fingernail.
Police wondered if this was the one case that forensic science wouldn't be able to solve. In the search for Jesse Valencia's killer, investigators had several suspects, all of whom had an alibi. Then investigators took one last look at Jesse's body and made a startling discovery. They found a large horizontal bruise along the victim's chest, the kind caused by a police restraint maneuver known as a shoulder pin. It's a hold in which the officer grabs the offender from behind and renders him unconscious by cutting off blood flow to the brain.
Some people go out as quickly as 5 seconds, and my personal experience working with my partner in training, he said that when he applied the technique to me and I tried to get out of it, I became unconscious in about 5 to 6 seconds.
That is, if the hold is done correctly.
When I saw the bruising on Mr. Valencia on both sides of his chest and on his back, my comment to Mr. Swingle was that could be consistent with this technique done wrong, where they were wrestling and fighting and maybe he was getting out of it and it wasn't working.
When investigators examined Steve Rios' police training file, they made a shocking discovery. Rios took this course and failed.
What happened with Stephen Rios' scoring was he scored below an 80%, so he was not certified in the defensive tactics system.
And on Jesse's chest, about where you'd put your arm in this police hold, there was some of the victim's blood. And stuck to it were several hairs. They appeared to be from an arm or leg.
The characteristics we typically see with limb hairs are curved-like features, long tapering tips. Head hairs are different. They're longer. They don't necessarily taper at the end. They're often cut or rounded off at the ends.
Miraculously, 3 of the hairs contained the root, a rich source of DNA. Scientists performed a PCR DNA test on all 3 hair roots. All 3
I like to stand right here because you see that little guy right there? If anybody runs by, he's gonna jump down.
Jesse Valencia or his friends, Andy Schermerhorn or Ed McDevitt.
Whenever I compared those back to the known reference standards from the individuals in this case, I was able to eliminate all individuals except for Stephen Rios.
This put police officer Stephen Rios' arm around Jesse's chest when he was bleeding.
I bet he had to run all the way back to that first bonfire.
And statistically, only 1 in 757.6 trillion people would match, and Rios matches.
He doesn't have a lot of health though.
Discovered how Rios
And neither his armor doesn't have great defense either.
Police records showed Rios cited Jesse for disorderly conduct at a loud party on campus 3 months before the murder. When confronted with the evidence, Rios changed his story. He admitted he and Jesse Valencia became lovers and said he lied to protect his family, but he continued to deny killing him.
Anybody's heart would go out to the wife of Stephen Rios, because in a course of about 48 hours,
What a fucking coward.
number one, her husband's having an affair.
He won't
Number
even
two,
fucking
he's
go
having
past this because he can't do it by
And
himself.
Number three, it's quite likely he killed this
Sack
man,
of shit.
keeping quiet about the affair. So her life was devastated in a very short period of time.
And a closer look at Rios' activities on the night of the murder revealed a 45-minute time frame for which Rios couldn't account. And prosecutors think they know the motive. Jesse told his family he had been involved with a police officer, but just learned he was married and had a child, and he planned to end their relationship.
He thought, it's not right if he's married. I don't want anything to do with him. And he told me he was going to confront him, and he says, well, I am going to forget about it. He said, I've been trying to avoid him, but he just keeps following me around.
Stephen Rios was hiding it from his family, and from the police force, and from his friends. Jesse Valencia thought that he could maybe pretend like he was threatening Stephen Rios, to tell the police about.
He should have kept that blue guy.
Welcome to Space News from the Electric Universe, brought to you by the Thunderbolts Project at thunderbolts.info. On this series, we have explored the significance of the filamentary structures seen at all scales throughout the cosmos. From the streaming filaments seen in the ion tails of comets, to the giant snake-like filaments reaching from the surface of the sun to the dark cores of sunspots, to the stupendous filamentary networks intimately linked to star formation in the Milky Way galaxy, to the web-like filaments along which galaxies form, like pearls on a string. Filaments in space are the expected features of a universe where electric currents connect celestial bodies across cosmic distances. Electrical circuitry pervades interplanetary, interstellar, and even intergalactic space, which can be seen when electric currents meet regions of dusty plasma and pinch the material into visible filaments. It's therefore no surprise that the discovery of huge filaments in space continues to send mainstream scientists searching for answers. Recently, astrophysicists
How much damage they're
using a very
taking.
large array telescope have made what for them is a completely unexpected discovery near the center of the Milky Way galaxy. What they have found is a nearly 2.5 light-year long filament that is, quote, probing the hypothetical black hole at Sagittarius A. The December 20, 2017 Phys.org report describes the discovery as follows. The center of our galaxy has been intensely studied for many years, but it still harbors surprises for scientists. A snake-like structure lurking near our galaxy's supermassive black hole is the latest discovery to tantalize astronomers. The leader of a study on the discovery stated, "With our improved image, we can now follow this filament much closer to the galaxy's central black hole.
I bet he tried to block the arrows.
Close enough to indicate to us that it
Idiot.
must originate there. However, we still have more work to do to find out what the true nature of this filament is." The investigators are only considering 3 possibilities to explain the mysterious filament.
It was funny last time watching that guy with the Havoc shield try and block all the arrows right here.
High-speed particles, somehow
He got wrecked.
light-years-long filament. This would involve
Busted through his guard and fucking killed him. And then one of those Phantom Black Knights hit him with the AoE and killed him.
Have proposed may have formed in the early universe, but which have never been discovered. Ironically, as described in the Phys.org report, it's believed that hypothetical cosmic strings are, quote, long, extremely thin objects that carry mass and electric currents. The final notion the scientists have considered is that the alignment of the filament with the galactic center is coincidence. However, as the Phys.org report states, such a coincidence is quite unlikely to happen by chance. Unfortunately, the investigators are not considering other, more promising possibilities.
He's too far away for me to help him.
Hypothetical black hole at the galactic center.
I'm way on the other side. I can only see their bars.
In the recent episode, black holes behaving badly. In astrophysics,
The host is by himself now, though.
hole has become an unfalsifiable concept. In our own Milky Way, it appears that no discovery, including the recent observation of star formation occurring much too close to the hypothetical black hole, where tidal forces must rip the gas and dust apart before it can form stars, will force any doubt of the black hole's existence. As we've outlined many times, the position of plasma cosmology and the electric universe is that it is not a black hole at the center of galaxies, but an ultra-high-density energy storage phenomenon demonstrated for decades in laboratories called
Right, because black holes are just theories with no indeterminate.
electrical circuit. The plasmoid concentrates and stores energy and is connected to a larger network of electric currents. When the plasmoid reaches a threshold density, it discharges, usually along a galaxy's spin axis. This is in fact the source of stupendous galactic jets. The discovery of a vast filament such as that recently observed is expected and is in fact required if it is a plasmoid at the galactic core. As we've noted several times recently, the role of magnetic fields in sustaining cosmic filaments is now being discussed with increasing frequency in astrophysics. Earlier this year, scientists reported the first ever measurement of the, quote, magnetic bridge linking the Milky Way's 2 nearest galaxies. Known as the Magellanic Bridge, the filament stretches for approximately 75,000 light years.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't reach him in time.
Magellanic clouds.
Oh well.
One of the researchers stated, not only are entire galaxies
He's gonna go summon some more people.
faint, delicate threads joining galaxies are magnetic too. Everywhere we look in the sky, we find magnetism. The lead author of the study stated, in general, we don't know how such vast magnetic fields are generated, nor how these large-scale magnetic fields affect galaxy formation and evolution. Understanding the role the magnetic fields play in the evolution of galaxies and their environment is a fundamental question in astronomy that remains to be answered. But of course, magnetism is only a part of the story, and will always remain mysterious without the recognition of the electric currents required to produce and sustain the magnetic fields. However, we do see increasing signs that this inevitable recognition is beginning to occur. The December 25, 2017 issue of Astronomy and Astrophysics published the paper, The Jets of Active Galactic Nuclei as Giant Coaxial Cables. In looking at the properties of stupendous parsec-scale jets, the authors conclude that, quote, our results have now yielded firm evidence that many, possibly all, active galactic nuclei jets have inward currents along their axes and outward currents in a more extended region surrounding the jets. In It also indicates that astrophysical jets are fundamentally electromagnetic structures, which must be borne in mind when interpreting observed features in the distributions of both their intensity and linear polarization. We note the counter-rotating magnetic fields the authors depict in this diagram of the jet's environment. As those in the electric universe community are well aware, the counter-rotation has special significance. In recent years, Dr. Donald Scott has developed the mathematical modeling of a Birkeland current, whose influence can be seen visually in the form of counter-rotating shells, as observed in Earth's cylindrical auroral sheets, and at the north poles of the gas giants Saturn and Jupiter. Dr. Scott will discuss the role of Birkeland currents in galactic jets in a forthcoming Space News. Another scientific paper, published in October 2017, also proposes that giant electric currents flow through the galactic jets. The authors state, several researchers have reported direct evidence for large-scale electric currents along astrophysical jets. Quite unexpectedly, their directions are not random, as would have been the case if the magnetic field were generated by a magnetohydrodynamic dynamo. Instead, in all kiloparsec scale detections, the inferred electric currents are found to flow away from the galactic nucleus. This unexpected break of symmetry suggests that a battery mechanism...
Look at this ring knight got fucking silence on him.
However, we again note the futility of scientists looking to colossal gravity as the cause of stupendous
hilarious.
cosmic phenomena.
And Crystal Lizard's right here because he came from the other side.
Battery do that is not connected to a circuit. The central object in an active galactic nucleus must be an electromagnetic energy storage circuit element, the aforementioned plasmoid, in a far grander galactic and extragalactic circuit. Plasma cosmologists recognized this decades ago, and was explained excessively in the book The Big Bang Never Happened. Yet these concepts are nowhere to be found in mainstream astrophysics, leaving working scientists
Where did this coward run to?
undeniable electrical phenomena, with little hope of resolving the underlying cause. And so as we enter the new year of 2018, our basis at the Thunderbolt Project for optimism and confidence has never been stronger, as groundbreaking discoveries lead scientists closer to our electric universe. For continuous updates on space news from the electric universe, stay tuned to thunderbolts.info.
Hopefully he goes summon some people, because I mean, this sack of shit, he's not gonna do anything except hide. He's probably almost out of Estus. Should only have one or two left, unless he double Estus. That happens a lot with these fucking gankers, because they spam the fucking square button.
San Diego's Convoy Street is an amazing Asian-flavored vacation. But whatever you do, save room for...
Hello, my beautiful lovelies. Hi, it's Emmy. Welcome back. Today I'm going to attempt to make a faux penguin egg. A fake DIY homemade penguin's egg. Why? Well, because it was brought to my attention by Lovely and Alone that penguin's eggs, particularly penguin's eggs that come from the Falkland Islands, also known as gentoo penguins, have a white that is not eggs from these nests and to eat them. Apparently they're 2 or 3 times larger than a standard chicken egg and much rounder in shape. So what's really interesting about this particular bird's egg is that when you boil the egg, the white portion was actually translucent or semi-clear, and the yolk inside was a bright orange-yellow color. But generally speaking, quite similar to a chicken's egg, the yolk was very crumbly and it was eaten mashed on toast. And of course, because penguins have a different diet than chickens, the egg also tasted different. It tasted much fishier because they eat a lot of fish. So now the gentoo penguin unfortunately is considered somewhat endangered, and this practice of eating their eggs is no longer practiced, and I know that I'll never be able to eat one of these eggs. So I thought I'd try to recreate them, because in my research I read that a former researcher who really loved these eggs found that if you took a duck egg and you put a little bit of sardine oil, the oil that sardines come tinned in, on top of the boiled egg, and you mash that up, that it tasted very similar to this penguin's egg. Essentially what I'm going to be making is a
What a coward. I knew he was going to disconnect.
Topped with sardine oil. Sounds really attractive when I phrase it that way, but I think it's going to just be absolutely stunning. And because everybody, including myself, loves eggs and everything related to eggs, I'm also going to be testing out this little gadget. And this little gadget's called the Neg, and it's an egg peeler, and it was sent to me by Lee. Lee, thank you so much for sending this to me. She very thoughtfully sent this to me along with some instructions. And I have seen this, but I've never tried it. It does look like something similar that I've seen in one of these hack videos where you can use a mason jar with similar results. So I'll quickly do a little side-by-side test with the Neg and...
I hope I invade him again.
Alright.
Those guys are the worst.
Let's get going on making all penguins' eggs, shall we? So what I have here is a bowl of beautiful eggs. We have 3 different species of bird here. We have our standard chicken,
He knew he was going to lose.
and quail. So I found the duck and the quail eggs at my local Asian market. I couldn't resist the quail eggs. When my sons were little tiny guys, they loved eating these quail eggs. They taste very, very similar to a chicken's egg. In fact, I don't think I could tell the difference. Although the ratio to yolk to white is a little bit different, the yolks are quite large in a quail's egg. Delicious and very, very cute. I love dyeing these during Easter, so stinking cute. Now the duck eggs, as you can see, are almost twice the size of a chicken's egg. So my hunch is that since the duck egg is larger than the chicken egg, the yolk will also be relatively larger.
That Phantom doesn't hardly have any HP.
Egg, I want the largest yolk possible.
Maybe 900 or 1,000.
But I don't know this for a fact. So I hard-boiled both of these eggs, and we're going to peel them and remove the yolks and compare them and see if, yes, indeed, the duck yolk is larger. Let's find out. So these are all hard-boiled. I cooked the duck eggs for about 12 minutes, and the
host has even less health. Oh my goodness.
Tiny quail eggs for about 4. If you missed my Eggies video where I shared my favorite hard-boiled
I definitely invaded lower level guys.
So first things first, we're going to peel our eggs. I'm going to use
They took a lot of damage from them ring knight.
It claims to be the greatest egg peeler, the Neg.
He'll probably get himself killed too, near the fat guys.
Rather than the gadget itself. That's just my hunch. And it includes the best boiled egg recipe, and after reading this, it's exactly the same way I boiled my hard-boiled eggs. So inside here are some little egg-shaped bumps, and I think this is supposed to give a little bit more friction, so the shell comes off a little bit easier. I'm going to place our egg in there, and we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water.
He's just a spamming R1 guy. He doesn't have enough poise though.
Basically, you put the water to the bottom bump here.
That my most hammer, I'd stun the shit out of him.
Chicken egg. Let's do the Neg first. We're supposed to shake this 4 to 12 times until the egg feels kind of soft. Alright, here we go. Oh, that feels squishy. Here is the egg. Oh, look at that. I'm doing a little peeling, but not much. And there it is.
Coward.
A beautifully peeled egg. So there's the Neg.
He's got like the broadsword with some pyro.
Alright, here we go. Feels about the same in terms of shaking.
Let's see what the host has. The scythe? No. This is gonna be too easy.
Let's pull it out.
They don't have a hope to defeat me.
Feels beautifully, look.
The only way he's gonna win is if I let him.
Entire piece.
They're severely underleveled though compared to me, so
The Neg totally works.
I'm gonna see how far they can get by themselves.
So if you don't have a Neg, you can just use a jelly jar at home with a lid. Any kind of container, I think, actually, that has this kind of dimension would work. Add a little bit of water, put your hard-boiled egg in there, shake nicely. You've got very easy to peel eggs. I wouldn't go and purchase this, but this was super fun to test anyway. So thanks again, Lee, for sending this to me. Alright, so we tested an egg with a chicken egg. Let's test it with a duck egg. Significantly larger. Put that in there, same amount of water. Ooh, shells harder, definitely harder. Not quite as easy to peel as the chicken egg. I think what's happened here is the proportion of egg to chamber has shifted because the egg is so much larger. So don't think the egg works so well with a duck egg. Also, the membrane on a duck egg is much thicker. So if you have duck eggs, just peel by
He's like, you dick.
Alright, so there is my duck egg. The albumin is a little bit whiter in color in the duck egg than the chicken egg. Quail egg in there, got some old shell, but I don't think that will matter. Snap that on. Got a shake. This one too doesn't come and shell that well. This also has a much thicker membrane than the chicken egg, so yeah, it works so great with the quail egg there. At any rate, here is the quail egg, and I love quail eggs. The inside membrane has a very light blue color to it. Cute. And there is our quail egg. Hard-boiled eggs are peeled. Now we're going to peel the whites off and do a little comparison of the cooked yolks. Duck, chicken, quail. It's actually not round. I was expecting it to be perfectly round, but it's not. When I bought these eggs, they were in a styrofoam tray and they were on their sides rather than sitting straight up like they would in a carton. So perhaps that had something to do with why this yolk is not circular. There's my little duck yolk. Duck white is much firmer in texture than the chicken white. This one's got a little bit more bounce to it. This is a little bit more firm. And there is my chicken yolk. It's about half the size of the duck yolk and brighter yellow in color. Oh, it's so cute and tiny.
Use the seed.
Cross-species comparison here.
That's cool. We're aggro all these enemies right here.
Chicken, quail. Now that we have our yolks prepared, we are going to make a faux white part of the egg, and we're going to use a little bit of agar-agar. So agar is a vegetarian gelatin substitute, and it is derived from seaweed.
No, don't use the seed. What was that then?
I've used it most famously
Sounded like
in
a
my
seed.
raindrop cake video, and most recently in my kolhakutol video, which I made.
Or did he use the little healing thing on his
So what I've learned from those videos is that agar-agar
on his catalyst to make the same sound?
manufacturers. In terms of the process of refining, they're going to be a little bit different. So let me show you what I mean. I've got two brands of agar-agar here. This one that's a little bit milkier in color is the telephone brand, and this is the Thai version. And this one here that is pretty white in color is this homemade cake brand, and this comes from Japan. Both these are labeled agar-agar, but they have very different properties. When they gel up, this one is much clearer, and this one has much more of a cloudy appearance. Now, I want to test two different recipes because in the photos that I saw of the hard-boiled penguin's eggs, they have this kind of translucent, kind of milky color, which is more reminiscent of the Thai agar-agar. But I also want to make a clear version because I wanted to revisit my raindrop cake recipe. So I'm going to do both these and compare them. So this is just 1 gram of the telephone brand agar, and this is 8 grams of the homemade cake brand. So the gelling properties of agar-agar are activated with heat. So we need to bring this to a boil. 250 mLs of water. So let's add our water here. And our 1 gram of agar powder. Now I found with the telephone brand, there's no need to bloom this separately. It dissolves very readily, just like this. So we just do that. No problem in dissolving. So while that's coming up to a simmer, I'm going to take the other homemade cake agar and add it to a bowl and add a couple teaspoons of water to the agar. Mix this up. This agar, on the other hand, is really difficult to combine in water in lumps. So this one we add just a little bit of water at a time to create a paste before we add the remaining water. Alright, so this is coming to a rapid boil. I'm going to turn this down. got a little gel here. I'm going to let this sit for 10 minutes or so while I prepare the other version, and then I will melt this one as well. So I'm going to be using the same mold that I used in my raindrop cake video, and this is actually
an ice mold.
sphere ice mold.
It's a good idea.
Claims he did the world a favor. The biblical story of Cain and Abel. A tale of two brothers, a tale of envy, a tale of murder. Centuries later, in a dusty field, a modern-day version unfolds. The Citrus Belt of Central Florida, where men and women work the land and live by the word. In a fundamentalist Bible camp, two men meet. One, Jim McCutcheon, is a rich man. The other, James Drysdale, is poor and a drifter. The rich man rents the poor man a room in his house and offers him a job in his fields. For a year they work together much like brothers, until one day when the rich man, Jim McCutcheon, disappears.
He'd been gone for several days, and he had an employee by the name of Billy McFall who had actually come to a friend that worked at the sheriff's office and said Mr. McCutcheon didn't show up for work or wasn't there when he went out to go to work, and he was getting concerned.
In McCutcheon's absence, Drysdale is operating McCutcheon's tree service business. He has told workers McCutcheon was arrested on a U.S. Customs warrant. Armstrong checks, but finds no such warrant or arrest. Then McCutcheon's workers describe some strange behavior from their interim boss.
Drysdale started to do some odd things. He started to ask Billy McFall how if he knew a
They like one up in that one, huh? No love ahead.
notarize a power of attorney for McCutcheon's checking accounts and everything like that. That wouldn't ask any questions.
Armstrong
I wish when you summon someone they would spawn where you summon them. Especially red signs.
Cabin, only to find it empty. Among Drysdale's
I don't know where he spawned at.
religious literature bordering on zealotry.
Should have just come right there at the bottom of the stairs. Over there by,
Drysdale's name printed on them.
before you hit those, turtle shell guys.
After he leaves the area, when he knows that we're trying to get in contact with him to at least talk to him.
As he becomes a suspect in a police investigation, James Drysdale is driving his truck to North Carolina to see his dentist. He returns to Florida on March 30th. In the back seat of his pickup sits a .22 caliber rifle. As Drysdale pulls up to the cabin, the neighbors descend.
Sack of shit.
The neighbors came up behind me in their vehicles when I drove into the yard. And
Why the hell did you put your sign down if you're not going to come over here and fight?
Missing. What's happened?
He told them, well, I don't know. This is what happened. He still gave him the same excuse that he'd given Billy McFall. One of the last words that was said by
what a sack of shit.
We're going to go call the sheriff's office and tell and get him out here.
I was unloading my truck as though I had nothing to worry about, but then I thought, oh Lord, I got that .22 rifle underneath my seat of my vehicle.
James Drysdale has reason to
He's an L1 spammer.
Convicted of attempted murder in 1971, he served 10 years in a North Carolina prison, one from which he escaped twice. With a .22 rifle in the back seat of his truck, the ex-con is immediately in violation of Florida law. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office, however, suspects him of much
Broken
more.
sword.
As neighbors call the police, James Drysdale walks into McCutcheon's house and keeps going right out the back door.
Grabbed my Bible and moved.
He's got thorns on.
Case and some records and
I missed the backstab.
took off across the orchard.
10 minutes
Is he
later,
gonna heal?
Scott Armstrong
No?
pulls
Good.
up to the McCutcheon property.
GG.
Drysdale is already gone.
He has a thorns hat.
We searched that area and do
I missed the
external
backstab.
search of the neighborhood, Tadio, but didn't turn anything up.
I also would have killed him.
8 nights, of 8 nights I spent.
I could have rolled away and threw a dagger at him, but I wasn't sure if he was going to heal.
Helicopters in the daytime, they had all kinds of people out looking for me. They couldn't find me.
But now I'm dead, I don't have to worry about being invaded.
Jim Drysdale emerges.
Dropper sign. I mean, not dropper sign. Use our
He
eye.
makes his way to the highway, where he catches a ride and slips into the wind.
How do I keep getting these, man? Fuck.
McCutcheon's disappearance goes cold.
Shit pisses me off. I keep discarding them and dropping them, put them in my box, and they just keep reappearing in my inventory.
Not a trace of Jim McCutcheon remains. Authorities hold out little hope that the 64-year-old might still be alive.
If I have any in my box, I better take those out of my box if there's any.
Crime scene. In June of 1998, cold case
No, I don't have
detective Gary
anything.
Harold takes up the case.
I don't know.
Walk that area and walk into the house.
I'm not gonna bother to give that guy a rematch. He's not any good.
I was able to.
And he's way too heavy, wearing a great sword with havels.
Drysdale remains at the center of the disappearance.
He's probably closer to 150.
Detectives have scoured the country for him.
I'm 125.
Much of the legwork done with financial records and computers. In 4 years, James Drysdale has not
I would own him with that other, Mahoney Curie and,
bank account. Gary Harold decides
I forgot what the other one's called.
the effort. He reaches out to a source inside the Social Security
I would bleed him out.
and asks her to review
And
file
Havels doesn't have the same kind of poise that it does before, so
access to the financial records search.
has good defense, but you can still get stunned.
Like magic. Bingo, it was there, popped right up. And again, prior to this, there was never anything.
Just 2 months prior to Harold's search, Drysdale had made his first and only Social Security claim. The return address on the claim takes cold case detectives deep into the mountains of Tennessee.
I could have turned on my second chance, but I was preferring to die. I wasn't a human or ambered.
It's mountainous, it's rural. It's a good place to hide your identity.
On a lonely road atop a Tennessee mountain sits a solitary grouping of mailboxes. In 1998, 555 is the mailing address for James Drysdale.
They lived without electricity, lived without running water, no telephone. They lived off the land.
Set back more than a half mile from mailbox is a shack. For the past 4 years, Drysdale has called it home.
He's carrying his water up from a stream. He's using wood-burning stoves, candles, lanterns. He was able to exist without any documentation.
On July 29th, Harold and homicide detective Scott Armstrong travel to Hawkins County. At Drysdale's cabin, they find the pieces of his new life, including a new wife, completely unaware of his past. Drysdale works at a construction site about 5 miles down the mountain. Hawkins County Sheriff's approach and ask if Drysdale can spare a minute.
There was some people over on the job site earlier that morning that had white shirts and ties on, and I guess they were engineers or something to do with the construction. So when these 3 well-dressed men come by, I had no way in the world that I suspect them cops looking after me looking for me.
His reaction at first was like it wasn't a big deal until he understood that there were officers from Florida with us.
And he kind of looked at me and he had that put quizzical look on his face, and I said, my name's Scott Armstrong from the Brevard County Sheriff's Office in Florida, and I've been wanting to talk to you. And he had that look of shock on his face, like that was the last thing he expected.
I said,
oh shit.
And you could tell that the color was draining from his face, and he kind of went all limp.
Drysdale offers nothing about the disappearance of James McCutcheon. Gary Harrell informs the suspect they are going to drive him back to Florida. There, Drysdale will be arraigned on a weapons charge, stemming from the .22 rifle found in his truck 4 years earlier. On the ride back, Harrell also plans to have a chat with his suspect.
Where the hell is this guy? These fucking fat guys are aggroed, but that guy's not there. Shortcut's open.
I was looking forward to that drive and spending time and breaking.
No Crystal Lizard.
And I was very confident. Let's get him in the car, drive.
Chris guys are all here.
That's the best case scenario for us.
When we return, the long drive to Florida and how a pack of fake Newtons helps cold case detectives break the case. For 4 years, James Drysdale has been both fugitive and
These bugs are here. Is that adjudicator
in
dead?
the backseat of a police car. He now begins a long
Adjudicator's
drive
there.
from Tennessee to Florida, where he is suspected of killing his roommate, Jim McCutcheon. In the front seat are cold case detectives Gary
Is this bug
Harrell
aggroed?
and Scott
No.
Armstrong. As the road unwinds, the detectives listen, and James Drysdale, a disciple of the religious right, begins to preach.
We started just letting him talk, and he kept talking and talking and talking.
I mean, it was a sermon. He preached to us from Tennessee to Central Florida. 10 hours.
A couple hours outside Florida, Detective Harrell suggests a stop. He goes into a roadside store and buys a pack of fake Newtons. It becomes a tool he will use to break the suspect.
I often thought that bag of fake Newtons may have solved this case. He liked that. He ate those big Newtons and preached to us, and we got to Florida. We got serious about
That Crystal Lizard's there.
I knew we were close.
Did he run back?
As they approach Brevard County, talk in the car turns more closely.
I couldn't tell if he had aggroed those other roommates. I fell down before I looked. I didn't think about it.
I said, James, I think you have a problem. And he was interested in that. I said, you've got a skeleton in your closet, and you're telling me that you're the Christian that you are. I said, as a Christian, I'm worried about you because I have a problem with that. I mean, you have to confess your sins. I said, you haven't done it.
he suspected I was lying, covering up, and he says, how do you feel? Are you right with your Maker? If you died tonight, would you be saved? And boy, that really washed over me.
And that's when he kind of put his head down and kind of had that look in his eye like there was something on his mind. He said, I need to talk.
And I says, if you want, I'll tell you what you want to know.
This Crystal Lizard's here.
Tried to cover this thing up about McCutcheon.
Is this shortcut open? I did get plunged right here. You could block a plunge, you'll still get hit, but you take less damage. No, this shortcut's not open.
James Drysdale sits before a tape recorder and provides cold case detectives with the bare bones of Jim McCutcheon's murder.
I had no remorse. I killed the man. I thought I was doing a good deed. That's what I felt about him. He was such a tyrant. No individual.
I must have ran past him.
He was.
He says, I have no remorse. I mean, he never did. He said, he claims he did the world a favor by getting rid of this SOB, as he puts it.
On the heels of his taped confession, Drysdale offers the cold case detectives a bonus. A return to the McCutcheon house, where the killer agrees to reenact his crime.
This is where Jim Drysdale lived with Mr. McCutcheon, and Jim's going to walk us through What occurred on the morning of March 14th, 1994, in the very early morning hours prior to daylight? Jim, why don't you describe this what happened?
Well, what he did was he reacted and showed us where the position where he was and the angle at what he felt it was and everything like that.
Man, I hate fucking when they hide like this.
Stand here, Jimmy. Just go ahead.
I'm not gonna run around go looking for him.
Go ahead and do what you did. A 22 rifle. And I took it and leveled it over there. Point to where the bullet struck him. Okay. Between the ears of the liar.
As Drysdale reenacts the crime, he also tells cold case detectives why he killed his roommate. It started with an argument over a broken answering machine.
The morning in question was on a Monday morning. The previous day on Sunday, he had accused me of messing up his answering machine.
If you sit right here, they can't shoot you with arrows or throw bombs at you.
Good answering machine, but things wear out. You know, it was old.
The only problem is they could surround you if you come with more than one person. But it gives you an escape route right here and right here.
In the small hours of the morning on March 14th, 1994, the argument over the machine began anew.
And it came at 4:30 in the morning, woke me up, and I slept with a piece of rebar under my pillow, and I had a 22 rifle standing against the wall behind an old church organ.
Drysdale claims he was afraid Jim McCutcheon might kill him. When McCutcheon turned his back to check the answering machine, James Drysdale got out of bed, found his rifle, and fired.
I went over and looked at him. Naturally, I didn't know whether I killed him or not. And he never flinched. Stone dead from the beginning. Shot him through the middle of the head.
Yeah, he was over there. I ran past him.
In its details, Drysdale's confession is both specific.
He was probably over there in that spot where there's no way down except to jump down those giant steps. The other side is you die from the fall, even with cat ring. Even though it's not that high, you still die. I don't know why.
And it is here that a simple confession takes a wrong turn.
Poor game design, I guess. There may be a way to survive with the glitch. I haven't figured it out yet. I know there's one right here. You could jump off the bridge and land on the higher part right here before you get to the bridge. Where the dragon throws the fire, you could jump down.
Through the orange groves once owned by his roommate, Jim McCutcheon.
There's only one spot though. If you miss it, you die. That's definitely a glitch of some kind. Hard to reproduce.
He said he recalled burying James McCutcheon near two young trees.
4.5 years, I'd forgotten exactly the location, but they were digging the wrong place, and they kept digging toward the house, figuring I wouldn't drag it very far. But the furthest part that they dug is where I actually buried him, and it was quite a ways away from the house.
Using heavy equipment, a forensic team digs for 3 days.
Get a Murakuma.
August 4th, 1998, they unearth a skull.
Oh, this is great. I can't believe it's in one piece.
The team believes it to be a part of the remains of Jim McCutcheon. An examination of it confirms their suspicions. Inside the eye socket, they find a sclero buckle, a device implanted during eye surgery, and a procedure McCutcheon had undergone just prior to death.
Oh, that's not a Kuma. What is that?
He had a sclero buckle implanted. We recovered the sclero buckle. We knew that he had dentures and that a tooth was missing from the top plate near the front, and we recovered that.
Errol is confident that these are the bones of Jim McCutcheon. As he examines the remains further, however, problems develop. Specifically with the skull, which shows no evidence of a bullet hole.
The way that Drysdale confessed, he said there should be fired 2 rounds. There should be 2 bullet holes.
Them small fireballs ain't no joke. They get stunned out, so you gotta watch out for those. Especially if I get stunned and then he hits me with that scythe, he could bleed me out.
His roommate's confession, and leaves cold case detectives with a question: can a man be shot in the head without suffering a hole in his skull?
Yes.
Science
It'll bounce around the side. 22.
What we're looking at is the base of the skull and the first 2 cervical vertebrae.
Dr. Anthony Falsetti is director of the Human Identification Lab at the University of Florida. Cold case detectives send the remains here to determine the cause of death, and specifically, if there is any evidence
At least I know they're not hiding anymore.
shot in the head. Falsetti first x-rays the skull.
What we noticed was that there was a greenish stain near the foramen magnum of the skull. That's in the back of the skull where the spinal column...
Oh, it's a wolf sword.
Essentially the base of the skull.
That ain't gonna help him.
The greenish stain is indicative of a contamination.
Oh, I was trying to kick his shield. I would have killed him with the critical.
Tracings of copper.
He's got no defense with that witch gear.
Falsetti then focuses on the vertebrae just below the skull.
And these two vertebrae were fractured. And when we reconstructed them,
I could do that too.
Did the radiography, that's when we noticed the radiopaque material in the skull.
Material is copper from a bullet.
Let the feast begin.
There is no hole in McCutcheon's skull because he was shot not in the head, but in the neck. Falsetti presents cold case detectives with his findings.
Told him that this individual had suffered a gunshot wound sometime at or around the time of death.
I got that sword too.
Gunshot wound.
They
were pretty pleased with that because I guess that matched up the story that they were looking for.
The lab work reconciles Drysdale's confession with the physical evidence, and the last mark is made in the case against him. On September 15th, 1998, James Drysdale is sentenced to natural life for the murder of Jim McCutcheon.
Use the little bugs you can hide behind them. Especially if they're throwing daggers. They're gonna get themselves ruined right here.
If it exists anywhere, is here. Maximum security lockup outside Jacksonville, Florida. Here, James Drysdale does his time.
I told you.
It's his scripture. By his own words, the convicted is wedded to the Bible. By his own action, he seems destined to suffer the fate set forth in a final passage. Proverb 15, verse 27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house.
I'm sorry to take a man's life. I would never have taken a man's life, per se. There's just too many reasons why this man should, I was afraid of him in the morning in question. And I also thought I could do a better job with his own possessions.
I think James Drysdale's a career criminal. He had been in and out of prison, escaped twice. He's a drifter. He's an opportunist. He came across best opportunity he's had in a long time. James McCutcheon.
I'm sorry I hurt the church. I really have remorse that I brought a bad name upon the church that I belong to. What can I say? I'm being punished.
Jim McCutcheon offered shelter to a man in need and received a bullet for his trouble. He died without a lot of fanfare. His disappearance merely causing a ripple in the local community. 4 years later, however, cold case detectives rekindled his memory and caught his killer. They refuse to forget because it's their job to remember.
Even with the ones that maybe people aren't knocking at your door, banging doors down trying to get it solved, you're getting calls from the family all the time. But those are just as important as the ones that do have families.
There's no one that cared. James McCutcheon, he was forgotten. So I think it was an internal satisfaction for the people in my unit, the homicide detectives, and hey,
Holy shit, that fucking fat guy took a ton of damage from me. Oh, I missed the backstab. I would have survived if I got that. It's always hard to get backstab. I had a cowardly invader though, who wasn't helping me when I engaged.
There was very little doubt in my mind that this was our man.
There was no...
I never did invade those gankers again. He probably got scared.
Puerto Rico is
That's what they do when they lose. They just stop.
We got a lot of everything. Yes, we're part of the States, but we have our own identity, you know. You say party and we'll stop doing anything.
Oh, I missed. Fuck American Ninja Warrior. Scumbag.
That damn hacker, that second time night that asshole cut in.
The movement was begun 8 months ago by a small group of scientists who discovered, quite by accident,
I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum.
You're ahead of you. Tell me about it. Must took the hackers months to figure out how to do this.
The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices.
How did he die? Did he glitch out on that fucking elevator? And that guy got sent home. What the fuck are these people doing?
To ourselves, to others, we are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival.
much for most people to bear. One such viewer switches the channel after telling the guy on TV,
blow it out your ass.
Just like today, most people do not want to hear about this kind of stuff. They just want to go back to playing on their phone or mindlessly viewing television. Nada realizes that the street preacher and the man on television are connected through a local church. When he sneaks into the church, he discovers that it's actually the headquarters of an underground organization. On the wall inside the church is written, "They live, we sleep," a phrase that describes the fundamental difference between the elite and the masses. Those in power know the truth about the world and possess the means and power to truly live. The rest of the population is sedated, dumbed down, and manipulated into a zombie-like state in order for it to be easily manageable. Nada learns that the rebellious organization is attempting to recruit people to take down the rulers. However, a few days later, Nada sees just what happens to those who plot against those in power. Helicopters, bulldozers, and police in full riot gear raid the place, destroy everything, and arrest the members of the underground organization. That is how the elite responds to contrary views. After witnessing the violent police shakedown, Nada begins to realize that something is wrong in America. The guy who believed in working hard and following the rules is starting to believe that something is completely out of place here. Determined to learn more, Nada re-enters the church and finds a few interesting things. First, "They live, we sleep" has been painted over. They don't want that message to be known. More importantly, Nada discovers a box full of sunglasses. While the sunglasses appear on the surface to be worthless, they actually provide Nada with the greatest gift of all, the truth. When he has the sunglasses on, Nada sees through the smoke and mirrors projected by advertisement and mass media. He only sees the core of their message and the only reason why they exist. No matter which magazine Nada flips open, he sees the same subliminal messages, which tells a lot about the true function
How's
of
this
celebrity
fucking
and
post
fashion
done?
magazines. Despite the fact that they are all different, they all ultimately serve the same purpose, to reinforce messages from the elite to the masses. Nada also quickly understands the truth about money. It brings a whole new meaning to the phrase, "In God we trust." Nada's most shocking discovery concerns the people around him. Some people are not human. They are from another race that has infiltrated society. Nada realizes that they are everywhere and that they hold positions of power, like this politician giving a speech on television. When the aliens realize that Nada can see through their disguise, they immediately alert the authorities, saying,
"I've got one that can see."
Being able to see is obviously frowned upon by the aliens. They do not like to be exposed. Nada quickly becomes a social outcast and aliens start closing in on him.
"I don't like this one."
Nada and everyone in the city are constantly monitored by flying surveillance cameras that are oddly similar to the new unmanned drones that are currently appearing around the world. Flying surveillance cameras were considered science fiction in 1988. They are now a reality. The concept of truth-seeing sunglasses is an interesting way to illustrate the importance of knowledge in one's worldview. Two people can be looking at the exact
Lady,
same thing,
don't matter how much makeup you put on.
realities depending on the level of information and awareness possessed by each person. Nada's sunglasses can therefore represent one's knowledge of the truth, which allows a clear perception of reality. Upon learning the appalling truth about the world, Nada feels the need to share this vital information with his friend, Frank. Nada, however, quickly realizes that some people do not want to hear about the truth. In fact, many actually get angry and offended at the simple mention of something that alludes to it. When Nada asks Frank to put the sunglasses on so he can see what he sees, Frank firmly refuses and calls him a crazy mother.
You crazy motherfucker.
With another classic line.
"Either put on these glasses or start eating that trash can."
Followed by one of the longest one-on-one fight scenes I have ever seen in my life. A scene that is dragged out for so long that it becomes utterly absurd and even comical. While the scene maybe appears ridiculous, it says something about the difficulty of making regular average people wake up from their blissful ignorance. Frank finally sees the truth. All it took was Nada to beat the crap out of him, sticking the sunglasses on his face attempting to rid the Earth of aliens. During the meeting, Nada and Frank are given truth-seeing contact lenses. The sunglasses gave truth-seers a nasty headache, especially when they are taken off. When first exposed to the truth, adapting to the new reality can indeed be difficult and even painful. However, after a while, it becomes a seamless part of a person, a little like wearing contact lenses. Nada and Frank also learn that humans are being recruited by the aliens in exchange for wealth and power. As the leader of the underground organization says,
most of us just sell out right away.
it is rather easy to make a correlation between the movie and the actual politicians and celebrities we've seen in the past who readily sell their soul to the Illuminati in exchange for wealth, power, and celebrity status. However, the meeting doesn't last long as the police barge in and start shooting everyone in there. They are designated as a terrorist organization by the elite. Nada and Frank manage to escape and accidentally find themselves behind enemy lines in the aliens' underground base. While exploring the alien base, Nada and Frank stumble upon a party thrown by the aliens for human collaborators to thank them for their partnership. Although humans will never be considered equals to the aliens, those who sell out to them get monetary benefits, much like those who are not part of today's elite who nevertheless sell out to push the elite's New World Order agenda.
Our projections show that by the year 2025, not only America, but the entire planet will be under the protection and the dominion of this power alliance. The gains have been substantial, both for ourselves and for you, the human power.
Ron Paul again? You son of a bitch. This guy's a hacker right here. He always brings a gang squad here. Do you see all that damage that he didn't take? Fucking hacker. He knows he can't beat me. How many times I invaded you and killed you, huh? How many times I've got you on stream? Hacking. Using mules. Last time I killed your host. Whatever. I'm gonna kill everybody. You can't trust anybody in Ron Paul's world. He likes to use reverse gankers. Look at him skating along there. He's probably turning on his Wi-Fi shit so he could fucking lag the world out. Ron Paul's a scumbag piece of shit. I bet if I kill these phantoms, I'm gonna get like 500,000 souls. This is that same scumbag too. Come on, you coward. You're all the same, fucking hackers. Fucking hackers, dude. Scumbag. I'll probably get 1,000,000 souls altogether after they're all dead. I always catch them on stream too, as proof. Fucking scumbag. You can't beat me. You never can. Did you see that? He didn't take any damage. Fucking hackers. How many uses does he have? Don't go over there. Gonna get himself killed again. If you haven't noticed, these guys are hackers. If you ever invade Ron Paul, you gotta know that. This invader's pretty good, but we're against hackers here, so it's always going to be hard to win. I'm not sure if he has modded gear or if his stats are modded, or I mean, I always catch him here ganking. Go for the host. Fucking hacker. Fuck you, hackers. I hate hackers. He did that last time too, and then after I killed his phantoms, he ran inside the fog room. I already don't want to play anymore since I know there's hackers here. I'm gonna switch builds and go somewhere else. That's already twice I've run into I don't want to deal with it. Fucking Ron Paul, son of a bitch. He's always there in that same level, just like me. But I'm legit, you know, I don't... Even my builds aren't even meant to win.